And I find that whenever I try that method, I end up like snapping out of the creative block like midway anyway. If you are feeling burnt out, or if you are at that like creative block, it's okay. It's part of a phase, it's not gonna last forever. So I understand that when you are in that moment of feeling burnt out, it can be really difficult, but just trust that this phase is gonna phase out, because honestly, it's just a small part of your life. And sometimes it's a part of the growing process, Sometimes you hit that block because you just need to grow past it and figure out something about yourself, learn about yourself, why you are hitting that block in the first place. And yeah, I mean, if you don't know why you're struggling, if you don't know why you're burnt out, like, it's okay, because we're going to talk about it today. So, worked out. But yeah, so I was thinking about it, and there's 5 things that I think really cause burnout. Of course, there might be more, but these are just the 5 that I thought of. So 1 is lack of rest, or just lack of balance in your life. 2nd is pressure, either from yourself or from others. 3 is that you're overworked, meaning that, there's just too many things on your plate. 4th is external influence, or like energy drain. 5th is just internal influence. So I'm going to talk about those 5 things. If you think of more reasons why people may get burnt out, do just send me a message. I'd love to hear your thoughts and then share with other people. Yeah, the first point is, lack of rest. And it's more than just lack of sleep. Obviously, sleep is probably one of the biggest things, most important things you need to do. Like, okay, honestly, I don't get 8 hours of sleep every night. I do some nights, but not every night, because sometimes, you just got too many things to do. Most of the time, I get maybe like 7 hours of sleep. But if you are feeling burnt out, this might be one of the biggest reasons why you feel burnt out, because you're not allowing your body and you're not allowing your mind to rest enough. It could also result from like lack of balance. So like, lack of balance falls into lack of sleep. That means like if you're not exercising, if you're not eating right, those play a really big part into getting burnt out, because, your body is just not running itself efficiently, and you really you need the right nutrients, and you need to get your blood flowing in order to, work optimally. Like, this is why in a lot of professions, like excluding like athletes, because in sports it makes sense that people will work out, but even not in sports, a lot of people go to the gym regularly, or they at least do cardio, because they realize it's really important to get your blood flowing. I mean, most of the people that I know personally like either jog or go to the gym or do something. So definitely do that if you think you are burning out from lack of rest or lack of balance. Also, you just need to do things that help you recharge. Gaming is not a good example, although it can be. I feel like if you're playing a relaxing game, it's fine. But I know for like myself, I like to play like really high-paced, like fast-thinking type of game. So that is not a good way to relax. If you are going to play games to relax and reset, do something that doesn't require too much mental output, because you need time to rest. And yeah, that causes burnout. I feel like that one is the easiest one to recognize, because you just need sleep, you need to eat healthy foods, and you need to do some cardio, get your blood pumping. One of the other reasons why people can get burnt out is pressure to perform. So this is one that I myself identify with a lot. It's when either you or other people around you put too much pressure on you to perform or turn out a great product, or whatever it is. It's like expecting you to hit a home run every time you go up to bat. And like, even though that's a great thing to aspire for, like, hey, how great would it be if I could hit a home run with everything I do? Like, that'd be fantastic. But realistically, it puts too much pressure on every little thing you do. It's really unfair to yourself as well, because it causes a lot of stress, and it really exaggerates the issue that comes from perfection, or the desire to perfect things. Because when you already struggle with perfectionism, you want everything you create to be perfect, and you have that own pressure on yourself. When someone else is putting that pressure on you as well, it makes it even worse, and that could be a huge cause, or it could be a easy cause for burnout. So yeah, honestly, my solution to that though is realizing that not everything is going to be perfect, and in fact, almost like hardly anything is ever perfect. So be okay with the imperfect product. Obviously try your best, But don't stress out too much if the product isn't exactly what you wanted it to be, or not exactly what someone else wants it to be. Honestly, like, just do your best. You do you, and everything will be fine. Set deadlines and stick to them. For example, like my daily vlogs, I only give myself like maximum 15 minutes to edit 20 seconds worth of a vlog. Sometimes it's faster, like because it's a really simple thing, or sometimes it's a little more complex and I get right up to that 15 minutes, but right when it hits 15 minutes, that's when I cut it off. And whatever I have at the end of that time is what I post the next day. Sometimes you just need to set those kind of deadlines for yourself, because it helps you get over the fact that nothing you make will ever actually be perfect. There's always gonna be a way that you can improve things. But if you keep getting stuck in that mentality, you're never going to be able to put any real product out there. Yeah, another solution, which is something that I used to do, is purposely do something not well. So for example, I used to write a lot of songs. I mean, I still kind of write songs, but not as much as I used to in college. Whenever I hit a creative block, like I didn't know what to write about, I would just write a bad song. And by bad, I mean a song that is like very poor in quality, both in lyrics and maybe musically. And the point of that is just to get something out, to start the process, to start and finish a process. Because if you are stuck, just using the songwriting example, if you're thinking like, oh, every song I write needs to be another top hit, you're just gonna never finish a song, because you're gonna start writing one and then you're going to keep editing it over and over, and then you're going to get to a point where you're like, oh, I don't even like this, and you start a new song and you never finish it. So this is one way that you can kind of get over that bad habit of maybe overthinking. And also, this is sometimes just the best way music is made, or any product is made. Like, a lot of startups happen because of accidents, right? So that's one of the ways that I would counter that pressure to perform. Just do something. You don't even have to tell other people. Maybe do something for yourself and purposely do it poorly, just so that you can start and finish something. And I find that whenever I try that method, I end up like snapping out of the creative block like midway anyway. So yeah, that's one recommendation. Another reason why you may be struggling with burnout, oh my gosh, I just zoomed out of my notes, whoops, is if you are overworked. So that means like if you have too many things on your plate, or your schedule is too packed. So I don't know if a lot of you like really identify with this one, but what happens when you have too many obligations or too many responsibilities is it's easy to get overwhelmed in your mind and then burn out from that, because of constant stress that, once I finish this, I have something else to do. So yeah, if you struggle with that, I would recommend prioritize. Obviously, it'd be great to do everything you wanted. It'd be great to, get all A's in your studies and then be the top performer at work or something like that. It'd be fantastic if you could do everything, but the reality is that you can't. So just set priorities, like make a list and rank things like top to bottom, like what are the most important things to you, and the things that come out on the top, the things that are most important, dedicate more of your time to doing those things well. And the things that are at the bottom, just be okay with letting them go. Like if you do have time, go ahead and do those things. But if you don't, like just let it go, man. Pull a Frozen moment, like just let it go. I guarantee you'll be like much happier, like living like that, living with priorities, rather than just a list of things that you have to do everything. Just set rankings and prioritize your life based off of that. I don't know if any of you guys watch Parks and Rec. I love Parks and Rec, the TV show. It's on Netflix. Go watch it if you haven't yet. But there is a part in the TV series where one of the main characters, Leslie Knope, is trying to run a city council campaign while working full-time. And she struggles because she's not able to balance the both while living a normal life. And it starts affecting all other aspects of her life as well. So one thing that a different main character, Ron Swanson, said to her is, don't half-ass two things, just whole-ass one thing. All right, and that's actually great advice, because when you try to dedicate 100% of your effort into two things, you're just not going to do well at both of those things. So it's better to just focus on one first and then move sequentially down the list of priorities. All right. So those are three ways that you can get to that stage of burnout. Fourth is external influences or energy drain. So me as an introvert, I say this because other people drain me. Not that I don't like people, it's just that I get drained when I spend a lot of time in social settings or even talking to people or even just messaging people online. Like, I'll be honest, like I get tired doing it, especially if I have to keep bringing up a certain level of energy when I interact with those people. So I think really coming to terms with who you are, how you operate is really important when it comes to external influences and balancing your social interaction. I know for you extroverts here, like that doesn't apply for you, but that doesn't necessarily just mean people. It also means where you're surrounding or who you are surrounding yourself with, the environment that you're in. If you are constantly in like a dark room, it's gonna be hella easy to just nap and then not get anything done. Versus like if you go to like Newport Public Library, for example, the whole library has got like tons of windows everywhere, lots of light shining through, you feel productive, you do work. There's a thing about working during the day versus working at night. I'm not saying you can't work at night, but it's honestly easier to just work when there's natural daylight around. Like I don't know how else to say it. Work during the day, sleep at night. And then also, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the people who you surround yourself with, if you're constantly surrounding yourself with really negative people, that's gonna suck up your energy hella fast. Negativity just puts a lot of burden on the creative process. So if you find yourself surrounded by, or if you have a lot of friends who just happen to be really negative or extremely critical and not healthfully critical, just let them go, man. That's not an energy you want in your life. They'll honestly drag you down. They're gonna cause you to burn out. That's why we're talking about this in the first place, right? Surround yourself with positive people who encourage you and help you. Also surround yourself with people who give you critique, but critique in a helpful way, in a way that like helps you because they love you and want you to be more successful, right? Critique isn't bad. It's bad when it's delivered in a way to harm or just to complain about something. The last of the 5 is internal influence. And another way to think about it is like self-doubt. And I'd say internal influence is how you think, what you're telling yourself, like what you say to yourself in a mirror, right? Honestly, if you are struggling with a lot of like self-consciousness or insecurity, like I would challenge you to, I don't even know. I do kind of know. I'll share with you an example of things that I do. All right. So you know how like people will write you like cards or stuff like at the end of the school year or like at a major holiday, like Christmas cards, things like that. Keep them and store them in a place. And whenever you feel in a place of struggle where you don't know what to think of yourself or your image of yourself is very low, just read those cards and remember that people took the time to write out a note to you to encourage you and share that they love you and they think of you positively in some way. For me, I literally have this like box of all the cards I've gotten with meaningful notes in them, like not the just Hallmark cards with no note, but like things that people actually wrote. I have a box literally just sitting in one of my drawers for whenever I do get discouraged or whenever I doubt my own like value or my worth. Like, dude, I'll just pull that out and I'll read things that people wrote to me, and it's super encouraging because these are the things that we don't tell ourselves. When is the last time you looked in the mirror and you told yourself like, hey, you are a freaking awesome person? Like, honestly, I don't even do that. I should do that, but I don't. But, try to think positively and remind yourself that there are people in life who care about you. And if anything, of those 5, this is probably the most important, at least in my opinion, because the way you think about yourself really sets how you do in life. If you believe that you are a great person and that regardless of the struggles that come your way, you'll be able to overcome them, you will just naturally overcome all the struggles. Like I promise you, like if you develop that kind of confidence that stems from just preaching to yourselves like truths about your character, you'll be a much happier person in life. Remind yourself the good things about yourself, right? Like, so for example, what is something I like? Something I like about myself is that I'm good at comforting others. Wow, it kind of feels weird to say, but hey, like that is a great quality that I have. Like I need to keep reminding myself that I'm good at that. And the more you reaffirm yourself of the truths about your character, the more it's going to reflect in your life and the more it's going to influence your inner psyche, and you'll just not be as burnt out anymore. Yeah, I honestly think like that's probably the biggest struggle, internal influence. But to recap, there's a lack of rest slash lack of balance, pressure either from yourself or from others to perform, being overworked, so having too many things on your plate, external influence, so who you're surrounding yourself with, and internal influence. So hey, that's 5. We covered 5 things. So if you're feeling burnt out, it's probably one of these 5 that is causing you to feel burnt out or like at a creative block. Yeah, if you have more questions or if you want more examples of how to tackle these different things, like feel free to message me. By the way, if you have any critique or feedback for me, I would love it, because I just want to get better at communicating, and so far all the things you've been telling me have been really helpful. So thank you so much for everyone who has provided me feedback. And if you're on the fence whether or not to message me, this is me now telling you to message me with feedback. I love it. I want to get better at this. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope this was helpful to you. And if you're struggling with burnout, I hope that you can really like listen to this receptively and, take a look at yourself, because, burnout is not a bad phase in life. Sometimes you feeling burnt out is just a natural process, and it's your mind or your body telling you that you need some sort of a break or you need to fix something in your life. So hey, just take it as an indicator that you need to change something. So go do that. I'll see you guys next week. So take care.